This game, I mean, you're up 26 points and you lose it. Tell me what this says. First, I'll start with the Celtics, what it means for this young Celtics team.
Okay, first we have to address the referees. The referee blew out his back in the warm-ups of the game. They didn't have a substitute or a replacement ref.
That's why there were only two refs.
Yes, they're typically R3, has nothing to do with national TV. All the games, James, I don't know if you know this, they're on some type of national TV, right. All right? It's called NBA Pass. That for all disclosure. But they blew this game. Completely in control of this game, without two of their starters, Capella and Chris Paul out, and another quality backup out. They were in complete control. Shot selection in the fourth quarter was bad. Defense in the fourth quarter was bad. Now, that's before we get to the final couple possessions. James said, what should I do when they're inbounding the ball? Well, you and the other guard, you line up on the elbows at the free throw line. You set a pick across the lane. One of you will break open. From the time I was in third grade, that's what the coach taught us. Or you line up in in a stack formation. One guy breaks left, one guy breaks right. Then you get open that way. Marcus Smart was doing what Marcus Smart does at the end of games. So I didn't like the lack of overall just composure that James Harden didn't have. Now, the first call was a bad call. It was a flop. But you have to be more creative in trying to get open. Either call a play for him or that's why they need Chris Paul. There's a reason why they have not lost a game with Chris Paul, and on this recent last 4 games, they're 0-4. Because at the end of games, they need more organization. And this is who James Harden is. He is not a classic point guard, so it's hard for him to close out games. He shot a 25-footer with 30 seconds left that was totally uncalled for. All you had to do was run the shot clock down to the bottom, and they won't have enough time to come back with the Celtics. So it's a colossal screw-up by the coach, by Houston Rockets. It's not a screw-up by the NBA with the ref getting injured.
All right, let me just address the end of the game for a moment. With 14 seconds left, the Rockets were trying to inbound the ball, and they couldn't. They called timeout. Then they're trying to inbound the ball at half court, and they couldn't, and they called timeout. Then they finally do get it inbounded. They hit some free throws. The Celtics then come down, score. Then the Rockets trying to inbound the ball, and they get an offensive foul called. Celtics take the lead. Then they're trying to inbound the ball. They had 4 times that they failed to inbound the ball. Listen, of course Marcus Smart was flopping. That is what he is known for. He is the biggest flopper in the league. And the second call to me was Tony Brothers, who's a ref known for doing some look at me stuff, really saying look at me. After you call that one, to call the second one was truly outrageous. But even if he didn't call the second one, the Rockets were down 1 at that point in time with 3.5 seconds left, having to go the length of the court. They're probably going to lose the game anyway. So I understand Harden's frustration, but this was a lack of execution by them, not just in the waning moments. You're up 26 points in an NBA game. I understand you're without Clint Capella. I understand you're without Chris Paul. I know you're without Luc Mbamute.
But you were without all those players when you went up 26 points.
When you got up 20, exactly right. So
but when you have those players, it's easier to maintain a lead like that.
Of course.
It's not an excuse,
sure.
But you're more talented, and those guys, and Chris Paul is going to give you a pace in the fourth quarter to be able to milk out the game, to be able to win it.
Right, and so, listen, I didn't like the offensive foul calls, but you should have never been in that position. The other angle to this, be it Boston or Houston, from the Boston side of things, Boston, they're in a weird spot. Anytime in close games late, they believe they're going to win. And that's a great place to be in. They believe Brad Stevens is going to draw up great plays. They believe Kyrie's the best closer in basketball. Whether either of those things are true doesn't matter. That's what they believe, and they play like that. But they've played now 37 games. 16 of those, they've been down double digits. That is a disproportionate number for a good team. To be down double digits in nearly half your games. Now, they've won half of those. They're 8-8 in those games. I don't know that you can survive that way long-term in the NBA against good teams, even though yesterday they did it against one of the best teams.
There's only one team that's been down more than that, and that's Golden State.
The only one team has a better winning percentage. They've been down, Golden State's been down double digits 10 times, but they're 7-3. They're the only team that has a better record in those situations.
Okay, Golden State, now they don't have an excuse.
Right.
Boston has an excuse. They're not as talented as everyone. It's not as if they're down in these games, they're underperforming. They have better players. Their second best player is out for the year, at least, in Gordon Hayward. So they are a young team that has gotten down. That's not to me, it depends on how you want to look at it. They're also a team that gets down, that don't give up on each other.
Correct.
So for me, their overall sports character is developing. A 19-year-old, a 20-year-old. Kyrie said, I want a team that's my team. Man, that's like finding gold. They know they can win. With a young team with inexperience, there is no lead, even against the best offensive team in Houston, there is no lead that is safe. To me, I believe that will pay dividends for this team. And if this team ever gets in the championship conversation, they will remember nights like this, where the team came together and it could have easily been frayed, but they decided that, you know something, we're going to win these games.
Brad Stevens can teach all he wants, but the one thing you can't teach is confidence, and that's the one intangible that, for a young team, is very impressive. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.